Did you know that a hidden rule in Canada could completely destroy millions of pensions by 2026? It sounds unbelievable, right? But what if I told you that this change could leave people without enough money to live on during retirement? This isn't a conspiracy or a far-off prediction. It's already happening. In just a few years, the financial future for many Canadians could be dramatically altered, and most people have no idea it's coming. The truth is, this rule will force people to withdraw from their pension funds far earlier than they ever intended, draining their savings at a pace that simply won't be sustainable. If you're planning on retiring anytime soon, you might want to rethink your strategy. This could be a game changer. Stick around, because in the next few minutes, we'll uncover the shocking details of how this rule will impact your financial future and how you can protect yourself before it's too late. Number 1. The hidden rule that changes everything. In 2026, Canada is set to introduce a hidden rule that will completely shake up the retirement landscape. This rule is tucked away in the fine print of government policies, and many Canadians are completely unaware of it. At its core, this new regulation forces people to withdraw from their RRSPs earlier than they ever planned. For many, that means taking money out at a time when they should be letting their investments grow, not depleting them. The impact of this could be devastating for anyone relying on their pension for financial security during retirement. The problem with this rule is that it doesn't just take away your ability to decide when you want to start withdrawing. By forcing people to pull out funds earlier, it accelerates the depletion of their savings, often leading to financial struggle later in life. For many, this means having less money when they need it most and possibly running out of funds before reaching the end of their retirement years. It's not just a minor adjustment. It's a drastic shift in how Canadians will experience retirement. The most alarming part, most people don't even know this change is coming. It's hiding in plain sight, and unless you're paying close attention, it could take you by surprise. If you've been planning on using your pension to live comfortably in retirement, this hidden rule could throw all of that into jeopardy. In the next sections, we'll dive deeper into how exactly this will affect you and why it's critical to start making changes now to protect your financial future. Stay tuned. This could change everything. Number 2. Forced withdrawals, a pension killer. One of the most concerning aspects of this new rule is the forced withdrawals from your pension. Under the upcoming changes, Canadians will be required to start pulling money out of their RRSPs as early as age 71, regardless of whether they actually need the funds. This is a drastic shift from the current system, where you can choose when to start withdrawing based on your needs and financial plans. The forced nature of these withdrawals could leave people scrambling for alternatives to fund their retirement, as their savings are drained at a time when they should be preserved for later years. This early withdrawal mandate could set off a ripple effect of financial problems. When you start taking money out too soon, the compounding growth of your savings slows down dramatically. This means that even if you've diligently saved for retirement, the total value of your pension could be significantly reduced by the time you reach your later years. For many Canadians, the fear is that they'll run out of money before they're even close to passing away. The longer you live, the more you need, but the sooner you have to withdraw, the less you'll have left. To make matters worse, this rule doesn't take into account individual circumstances. Some people may be forced to take out more than they planned, potentially moving them into higher tax brackets. This would further reduce the amount of money they're left with in retirement, leading to increased financial stress. If you're relying on your RRSPs as a major source of income, these forced withdrawals could be a major blow to your long-term security. In the next section, we'll look at how this early withdrawal policy could be a ticking time bomb for pensions across Canada. Number 3. The impact of rising inflation. As if the forced withdrawals weren't enough, rising inflation is another serious threat to the stability of your pension. Inflation in Canada continues to climb, pushing the cost of living higher every year. Prices for basic goods like food, housing, and healthcare are increasing at a rate that's outpacing the growth of many people's pension funds. This creates a huge problem for retirees, as the money they've saved for the future simply won't stretch as far as it once did. With inflation eroding the purchasing power of your savings, your pension could quickly become insufficient to cover the rising costs of daily life. The devaluation of money means that even if you've saved a solid amount for retirement, it may not be enough to maintain the lifestyle you've worked so hard to build. If your pension withdrawals aren't adjusted for inflation, the value of what you receive will be worth less over time, leaving you struggling to keep up with increased expenses. This combination of forced withdrawals and inflation can create a perfect storm for pensioners. As more people are forced to take their savings out earlier, they are likely to face the harsh reality of inflated costs with less money to spend. The longer you live, the more you'll feel the pinch of this problem. And without proper planning, your pension could quickly be consumed by rising prices. In the next section, we'll dive into how this inflationary pressure can destabilize your retirement plans and what you can do to protect yourself. Number 4. Employer pensions are vanishing. Another critical issue that could destroy pensions in the coming years is a reduction in employer pensions. Over the last few decades, companies have been scaling back their pension contributions or eliminating them altogether. Many Canadians used to rely on workplace pensions as a steady stream of income in retirement, but that safety net is disappearing. In fact, more and more businesses are shifting towards defined contribution plans rather than defined benefit plans, which puts the burden of saving entirely on the employee. With fewer employers contributing to pension plans, the responsibility for retirement savings has shifted to individuals. While this may sound like a good opportunity for those who can afford to save, it's become increasingly difficult for many workers to keep up. The cost of living continues to rise, wages stagnate, and the future of Canada's pension system grows more uncertain. This leaves many workers with insufficient retirement savings that are likely to fall short when it's time to stop working. The disappearance of employer pensions doesn't just impact the current workforce, it affects future generations as well. Without a strong employer-backed pension plan, younger Canadians face an even greater challenge when planning for retirement. The savings they need to build a secure future might simply not be there. This lack of employer contributions, combined with a new forced withdrawal rule, creates a dangerous combination that could cause millions of Canadians to enter retirement unprepared and vulnerable. In the next section, we'll explore how these changes could lead to an unstable financial future for many. Number 5. The volatility of stock markets. One of the biggest risks to pensions is the volatility of stock markets. Many Canadians rely on investments in the stock market to grow their retirement savings, but this comes with inherent risks. Market fluctuations are a natural part of investing, but for those relying on their pensions for income, these fluctuations can have a devastating impact. If the market takes a downturn when you're forced to withdraw from your RRSPs, your retirement savings could take a serious hit, leaving you with less than expected. What makes this situation even more dangerous is the fact that many people nearing retirement have already invested a significant portion of their pension funds in stocks. The hope is that the market will provide solid returns over the long term, but economic downturns can happen at any time. A sharp decline in stock values could wipe out a large chunk of your savings just when you need it most, and with the forced withdrawal rule, you may be required to take out funds during these volatile periods, locking in losses. The uncertainty of the stock market means that many retirees may find themselves with far less than they planned for, especially if they need to start withdrawing early. Even with the best intentions, stock market returns are unpredictable, and relying on them to fund your retirement can leave you vulnerable to unexpected financial hardship. In the next section, we'll explore how the combination of forced withdrawals and market volatility can create a perfect storm that could devastate your pension. If you're finding this information valuable, let us know your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. We put a lot of effort into creating these videos, so please support us by subscribing. It's just one click and helps us bring more important content your way. Number 6. Rising taxes on withdrawals. As if the forced withdrawals and market volatility weren't enough, increased taxes on pension withdrawals are another looming threat. In recent years, governments across the globe have been facing growing fiscal challenges, and Canada is no exception. With rising national debt and the costs associated with an aging population, the government is likely to turn to higher taxes to help fund public programs. This means that the money you've worked so hard to save for retirement could be heavily taxed when you need it the most. Under the new rule, as Canadians are forced to start withdrawing their RRSPs earlier, they could find themselves in higher tax brackets than expected. Early withdrawals may push some people into tax categories they hadn't planned for, which results in a substantial reduction of the money they actually receive. The more you take out, the higher your tax rate could be, leaving you with even less money in your pocket. For many, this means they will end up with a fraction of their retirement savings, impacting their ability to cover basic living expenses in their later years. The combination of forced withdrawals, rising inflation, and now higher taxes creates a financial triple threat for pensioners. It's a perfect storm that could quickly erode the value of your retirement savings, forcing you to rely on government assistance or other external sources to make ends meet. In the next section, we'll discuss how these financial pressures could lead to a massive financial insecurity for millions of Canadians as they enter retirement. Number 7. The challenge of longer life expectancies. With Canadians living longer than ever before, life expectancy is becoming a major challenge for retirement planning. While this is generally seen as a positive development, it brings a unique set of problems when it comes to pensions. Many people are planning their retirement assuming they'll live for 20 to 25 years after they stop working. But with advances in healthcare and healthier lifestyles, many people are living well into their 80s or 90s. This means that retirement savings, which might have been sufficient for a shorter retirement, could quickly become insufficient as the years stretch on. The issue is further compounded by the new rule that forces individuals to withdraw from their RRSPs earlier than expected. When you're required to start taking money out at age 71, you may deplete your savings more quickly, leaving you with far less to work with in your later years. As people are forced to start drawing from their pensions earlier, they may run out of funds before reaching the end of their life, especially if they live longer than anticipated. This creates a situation where many Canadians will face financial insecurity in their retirement years, unsure of how to make their money last. In addition, those who plan to rely on pension savings to cover healthcare costs or other major expenses might find themselves in a tight spot. With rising healthcare costs and inflation, it's more likely that retirees will need to rely on their pensions for longer periods, yet they may be forced to use those funds up too quickly. The combination of longer life expectancies and forced withdrawals could leave many retirees financially vulnerable, facing a situation where their pensions simply won't stretch far enough. In the next section, we'll look at how this could create a systemic financial crisis for future retirees. Number 8. The strain on future generations. While the changes to pensions in 2026 may seem like a problem for today's retirees, the impact will be even more severe for future generations. The reality is that younger Canadians who are just starting to save for retirement are facing an increasingly unstable financial system. With fewer employer-backed pensions, higher taxes, rising inflation, and forced withdrawals, it's becoming more difficult for younger workers to build up the kind of retirement savings that previous generations enjoyed. This means that the financial security many people take for granted in retirement might not be available in the future. As pension plans shift more of the responsibility onto individuals, younger Canadians will need to save more on their own. However, with the rising cost of living and wages that are often stagnant, it's becoming harder to set aside significant amounts of money for retirement. On top of that, the new forced withdrawal rule could result in a situation where people are draining their savings earlier than they planned, leaving them with less over the long term. This creates a vicious cycle where younger workers are forced to contribute more to their retirement savings but face increasingly limited returns. The biggest concern is that this situation could leave future retirees with little to no financial security. As more people are forced to rely on government assistance or reduce their retirement expectations, the overall financial stability of the country's pension system could be at risk. Future generations will likely bear the brunt of these changes, with fewer resources to depend on and a system that may not be able to support them adequately. In the next section, we'll discuss how this could lead to widespread financial instability for both individuals and the country as a whole. Number 9. Increased dependence on government support. As pensions are drained faster due to forced withdrawals and rising inflation, more Canadians will likely find themselves depending on government support to survive in retirement. Programs like Old Age Security and the Guaranteed Income Supplement are designed to provide a safety net for low-income seniors, but they were never intended to be the primary source of retirement income. With millions of people possibly turning to these programs for support, there's growing concern that the system will become overwhelmed, making it harder for anyone to get the assistance they need. This increased reliance on government support could strain the country's social safety net, leading to potential budget cuts or reduced benefits for retirees. As the number of people needing financial assistance grows, the government might find itself unable to keep up with the demand. The risk is that instead of having a comfortable retirement funded by personal savings and pensions, Canadians will have to rely on a system that is already under financial pressure. In a worst-case scenario, this could lead to reduced benefits for everyone, not just those who are financially insecure. The shift towards relying on government programs also creates a sense of financial insecurity for those who expected to live comfortably off their pensions. People who have worked hard and saved diligently may find that their hard-earned money is not enough to cover their needs, and with government support stretched thin, they may end up living in poverty during their retirement years. This growing dependence on the government could create a crisis of trust in the pension system, leaving many to wonder if they can ever truly rely on their savings and the government to secure their future. In the next section, we'll explore how these changes could lead to widespread anxiety and uncertainty for Canadians heading into retirement. Number 10. The psychological toll of financial insecurity. The financial pressures caused by forced withdrawals, inflation, and the erosion of pension security don't just affect Canadians' bank accounts. They also take a serious psychological toll. The fear of running out of money during retirement is a real concern for many, and it can lead to increased anxiety, stress, and uncertainty about the future. When people can't rely on their savings or pensions to provide the lifestyle they planned for, it can cause deep emotional distress. The weight of not knowing how to make ends meet or what to do if their money runs out can become overwhelming. This constant worry about money can also affect physical and mental health. Stress has been linked to a range of health issues, including high blood pressure, heart disease, and depression. As retirees face the reality of having less money than expected, they may experience feelings of helplessness, fear, and even shame. These emotions can make it difficult to enjoy retirement or plan for the future with confidence. In fact, financial insecurity is often cited as one of the leading causes of mental health struggles among seniors. Moreover, the emotional toll doesn't only affect those in retirement, it impacts their families as well. Children and spouses often feel the burden of watching their loved ones struggle financially, leading to strained relationships and added pressure on younger generations who might need to provide additional financial support. The uncertainty of what lies ahead can lead to feelings of powerlessness, not just for retirees but for the whole family unit. As the situation worsens, it's clear that the emotional and psychological consequences of financial instability will be felt far beyond just the individual facing retirement. In the next section, we'll discuss how you can begin to take action now to protect yourself from the financial and emotional fallout of these looming changes. As we've seen today, the pension crisis brewing in Canada is real, and it could have devastating effects on millions of people's financial futures. With forced withdrawals, rising inflation, market volatility, and increased taxes, it's becoming harder to rely on traditional retirement savings. The psychological toll and strain on future generations only add to the urgency of addressing this issue before it's too late. The good news is that you can take action. By staying informed, planning ahead, and making smart financial decisions now, you can protect your future from these looming threats. Don't wait for 2026 to roll around. Start making changes today that will help ensure your financial security in retirement. We'd love to hear your thoughts on this issue. What steps are you taking to safeguard your pension? Let us know in the comments below. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. We put a lot of effort into creating these videos, and your support helps us keep bringing you valuable information. It's just one click. Join our community and stay informed about what matters most. Thanks for watching.